And this is the 8th,
Ninth.
9th word.
Wow.
This is number 9. So they've advanced with this whole rhythm thing, but the thing is to get people to be able to actually, this never happened for me in college. When I was in college and I learned rhythm, they make you do this counting, 1 and 2 and, or 1 and a 2 and stuff like that. And the problem with that is it's dealing with fractions. Now, I don't know how good a mathematician you were when you were in school, but I was lousy with fractions. And fractions aren't that easy, really, for a child's brain to comprehend. So to take something that's as basic to music and make it about fractions is like grabbing the wrong end of the pot, trying to take it off the stove, you know. Of course you're going to burn yourself. You know, it's hard. That's what handles are for. Okay. So in my life, being a composer, I hear a lot of music in my head, or I hear something out, or I'll be standing with Mary and she'll be humming something under her breath, not realizing what she's doing, and I'll want to write it down. I want to steal it. So the problem is, I can hear it, I can hum it, but how do I get it on a piece of paper? That's the problem. And this counting 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 doesn't work unless you know ahead of time what it's going to be before it is. Say, if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, that's one level of resolution. If I count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and now I'm counting twice as many pulses, and now that's like going from low-res graphics to high-res graphics, where the pixel is smaller and we have more of them. So the image that I'm making is a little bit truer. Now, if the rhythms are going really fast, we go to 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, okay? So now we're getting 4 sounds for every beat, and now we've gone to a higher pixel resolution. But here's the problem. You got to know what resolution you're in before you do that, or what the material is that you're going to be listening to before you do that, so your head is formatted the same way as the music coming in, to be able to catch it, to catch the beat. So there's a problem. You got to know something about the music before you hear it. And I'm pretty intuitive, but I'm not that intuitive. So there had to be another way. And again, this took me back to a poetry class I had in school, in which I met the piano tuner. And I asked the piano tuner, how do you tune a piano? And he says, I listen to the wobbles or the warbles in the sound, and I count them. And I said, oh, okay, so when you're tuning the 5th on the piano, how many warbles are you listening for? He said 3 warbles in 5 seconds. And I thought, wow, that's slow. How can you count 1, 2, you know, how can you count the 3 in 5 seconds and get an accurate dimension? How do you do that? And then I said, well, what about these other intervals on the piano, like the major third or the minor third? And he says, oh, well, the difference between the major third and the minor third is the major third is 10 warbles per second, the minor third is 14 warbles per second. And I said, how can you hear the difference between 10 and 14? I mean, what's the difference between and can you hear it? And yet these guys are going, going, oh, that's 14, and going, oh, that's only 11. How the hell does a person do that? So I asked the piano tuner and said, how do you do that? And he says, well, I use a word. So I do what poets did. Words have rhythm built into them already. So as I'm talking to you, I'm generating lots of different kinds of rhythms. He said, if you can take a count or rhythm and attach it to a word that has that same number of syllables, then all you have to do is, in your imagination, listen for the word. And what you'll be hearing is that number of syllables. So if I'm listening to something like Mississippi, 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 I can hear it like this. Mississippi, 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 Mississippi. And then that beat can be divided into 4 equal pieces. And I can hear Mississippi, 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 no problem. Now if I speed it up, Mississippi, 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 or even faster, Mississippi, 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 da-da-da-da. In my head, even if I'm saying da-da-da-da, I'm thinking Mississippi. Mississippi. Can you hear? No matter how fast I go, if I'm listening for that word Mississippi, which is 4 divisions of whatever it is I'm saying, then I'm getting 4 perfect divisions of that time. And the interesting thing is, the time can be relative. It doesn't have to be objective or fixed. It can be changing. It can be speeding up and slowing down, and my ear can still hear it. I can still divide that pulse into as many syllables as I want. So then I thought, well, the real test of this would be odd numbers, wouldn't it? If you can hear an odd number and control something odd, then that would be a good test of this whole idea. So, what about 5? What if you want to count to 5? Well, another really good word that piano tuners use, because they use 5 a lot, is Mississippi mud. Mississippi mud, 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 Mississippi mud. Can you hear? Mississippi mud, Mississippi mud, Mississippi mud. And now I can do 5 divisions of something accurately, and I can speed it up and slow it down, and I can control it rather than me trying to follow along counting a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, which your brain doesn't like to do. Okay. Another thing to be able to actually write this stuff on paper is to attach that word, which we in the business call a mnemonic. We attach the mnemonic to a lexicon. That is, we attach the word to a symbol. And the symbol is the graphic symbol that we use for writing music. And if we attach that to the word and we learn what the symbol looks like in the word at the same time, then anytime we hear that word, we'll recognize that symbol or write that symbol down. Or anytime we see the symbol, we can say the word. And then what happens is, out generates the rhythm. Now we've been doing this for months on end with these other people, and they're pretty good at it, and we'll give you a demonstration, but we'll just go over the code words that we've all learned so far, okay, quickly. And then I'm going to give you one new one, all right? So, when we want 1 pulse per second, we just say the word drum. Now, you can use any word you want, but here's what I learned a long time ago when I first came up with this system. I had a different set of words that I used to train my ear. And then we got a lot of kids who couldn't relate to the $25 academic words I was using. So it didn't work very well, because you can't say anti-establishmentarianism and expect some kid to get it. But you can say Tarzan or elephant, you know. So Angel and I went and saw a Tarzan cartoon and came home saying Tarzan, elephant, alligator, all these Disney characters, you know, and those the kids could relate to. So when we changed the code words to the new code words, to this day, I'm wrestling with it more than any of you, because I'm trying to undo a habit I've built, and now using new code words. So if you do find some code words that you like, use them exclusively, work them. Doesn't matter what they are, work them, have fun with them, but realize that you're going to get it so ingrained in your body that it's going to become automatic, and you won't be able to change to new code words later, okay? So anyway.
Out of curiosity, what did you do?
Well, I used to say 1, 1 instead of drum, and then I'd say, instead of Tarzan, I'd said number, number, number. And for 4, instead of alligator like we're using now, I said diatonic. That's one of the words the kids couldn't get. Diatonic, diatonic, diatonic. So I had num, tonic, diaber. But then we had this friend of ours who's a poet, and she's into Gothic. And so she came up with blood, blood, heartbeat, heartbeat, terminator, heart. And that was really fun. And then if you try to put them together, compound them, say take Terminator, take the first half of Terminator and add it to heartbeat, then you get termabeat, termabeat, or heartnator, heartnator. And I thought, those are really groovy sounding words. You know, so now you're making up new words. But again, you get the idea is it has the rhythm, the sound that we're listening for, and getting that rhythm just right. And once you got that, that helps you decode the reality that you're listening to. And after a while, you also learn to hear the rhythms as the pitch is going up and down. So as a melody is happening, it doesn't matter, the melody won't throw your ear off. Okay?